thought I had it all together, but I was led astray the day you walked away. You were the clock that was ticking in my heart, changed my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love so hard to find.
we got him.
It's time to talk about some serious stuff. And the serious stuff I'm referring to is the fact that Richard Hart finally has capitulated and is finally talking about perhaps introducing single-sided staking. But yeah, folks, look, recently we got a Richard Hart tweet saying that he's perhaps willing to experiment with PulseX single-sided staking. And that is tremendously, tremendously bullish news. And that is not just my opinion, folks. We see that the market, in fact, agrees with me. You see this dump here? This was Richard Hart tweeting that he's thinking about not doing single-sided staking. Massive dump. Richard Hart tweeting he's thinking about doing single-sided staking. Massive pump. So for all these people who are saying, who I respectfully disagree with, who are saying that single-sided staking pool is stupid, unnecessary, these arguments essentially boil down to like, trust me, bro. It's actually stupid. It's not actually necessary. Why? Just trust me, bro. Because for those of you who weren't around during the first days of kind of Hex's existence, Richard Hart did nothing but for 2 years straight preach the extreme importance of tokenomics, proper game theory, and a bullish narrative. And having single-sided staking pools for PulseX improves the tokenomics, improves the game theory, and provides a bullish narrative. To pretend that removing that doesn't objectively hurt its potential price performance is a brand new narrative I'm just hearing for the first time that frankly just sounds like a copium to me. And it's not just our theories. Again, we're seeing the market react. The market reacted extremely positively to the news of us potentially getting single-sided staking, and the market reacted extremely negatively to the news of Richard Hart removing single-sided staking. So regardless of just kind of theory and us debating each other based off our kind of personal theses, we can do that, all the live long day. At the end of the day, the market sure as shit seems to think that single-sided staking kind of matters. So folks, this is what I'm referring to. This is the PulseX versus DAI pool, and we could see that the market is reacting extremely positively to the news of single-sided staking. And obviously so, because single-sided staking is a massive, massive reason to hold. Okay, John Smith, I'm gonna have to ban you, my guy. All right, this is not the place for a political discussion. Okay, we're looking at PulseX and we're talking about the potential for financial freedom. All right, this is what we're focusing on here. And guys, this is great news to see. This is great. This is very bullish long term. And so we're looking at Somi, your friend Somi. Thankfully, he's been released from Twitter jail. And so we have a screenshot here from him, screenshotting Richard's Twitter, saying, "I wonder what an app.pulsex.com farm single side pool instead of farm experiment would do." Guys, so look. Just to clarify, it was never my position that I think PulseX was dumping because we didn't have single-sided staking or that we needed single-sided staking like tomorrow. I've never been impatient about this. I don't care if we get single-sided staking 6 months from now, a year from now. I just care that it's happening eventually. So that's just something to clarify because I had a discussion with Buck, one of the founding members of Fiat, and Moon, I'm sorry, I forget his name. But anyways, there's a Twitter space between Buck and another prominent kind of crypto influencer talking about the potential price performance of Pulse Chain, and I managed to hop in for some part of that Twitter space. And I was, asking them what their position is on single-sided staking. And Buck was in the camp of single-sided staking is not only unnecessary, but stupid. And I strongly disagree for some of the reasons just mentioned. And not only does the market seem to disagree with Buck, but apparently so does Richard Hart, because Richard Hart seems to be wanting and planning to roll out single-sided staking, which I think is fantastic for PulseX holders. So that's very good to see. Now, let's refer back to kind of the price action. So, folks, if we want to see continuation, if we want to be sure that this wasn't just a fake out, but indeed a true breakout, what I would want to see at some point to give me confidence is a retest of the day one average sack rate and a maintaining of support here. Now, we might not even necessarily get that. Like in a truly bullish scenario, which may or may not happen, what we could get in terms of seeing continuation is something like this. We break out further, come back down to retest perhaps these areas here. What I want to see and what I want to communicate to you guys is that if you're looking for bullish continuation, what you ultimately want to see is a flipping of previously established resistance, then a testing of that previous resistance level now turned into support, then confirmation of that resistance area flipped into support by spending time testing that area and maintaining, getting a higher time frame candles opening and closing above that previously established resistance area. That is typically what you want to look for if you want to, try and find signs of bullish continuation. Is this just going to be like a short-term thing, or does this pump have legs behind it? Does it have sustainability? And typically, what you want to see is, again, a breakout and a retesting of previous resistance. If we can come back down, retest this level, it holds and keep pumping, then that's a good sign. Or maybe we blow past a couple of resistance levels. But if whatever, to whatever extent we pump, if we pump, then come back down and retest the previously held resistance level and holds, and we get, 1 or 2 4-hour candles, a daily opening and closing above that level, then that's a good sign that leads to the possibility of, bullish continuation. So, folks, whether we get that long-term or short-term, long-term, I do think that Pulse Chain is probably one of the best layer ones you could hold. It's probably likely to outperform Cardano, outperform Solana, outperform Polkadot, a lot of these other layer ones. So, whether we're talking about a 50x, 100x, 1000x, I do think that Pulse Chain long-term is likely to outperform. And, anything below the average day one sack rate, I think long-term is going to end up being a fantastic buy. And even though Pulse Chain is above the average day one sack rate, PulseX is most definitely not. PulseX is quite a bit below the average day one sack rate. In fact, if we measure it, I think PulseX, frankly, especially with the news of single-side staking, being 62% down from the average day one sack rate, is even though we have a little bit of a pump here for sure, I think long-term is probably a great buy, especially if you get that single-side staking, because if you can earn a yield on your position, like, guys, I find it so funny that I'm having to fucking convince Hexicans that yield is important. I mean, God damn it. Out of any community in the world, I'm so surprised that I'm having to convince the Hex community, out of all communities, the importance of yield. I mean, that's the whole reason why staking is important, because you can get a yield, and a yield is significant. Like, getting a 10,000x is great, but guess what? Getting a 12,000, a 14,000x is even better, and you can get that with staking, with getting a yield. So if we can, stake PulseX, and you can earn INC token or some random ass other shit token and earn 5, 10, 20%, whatever it is, you could sell that and earn Pulse Chain. And if, the bull market's going to last another 2-3 years and you're earning 20% every year that you can constantly sell and accumulate Pulse Chain, well, over the course of the next 2-3 years, you could have accumulated, 40, 60% more, who knows, Pulse Chain than you had otherwise. To pretend that that's not significant is to not live in reality. And so I'm so flabbergasted that this is even an open question. This is even a debate on Twitter, but apparently it has been. And I wanted to see, God damn it, I had a tweet pulled up of Walrus from Liquid Loans, who's pointing out the rather obvious, in my opinion, that being how single-site staking was quite important for PulseX.
I think we can see a microcosm, a bit of what we were just referring to. I thought single-sided staking was dumb. What happened, everybody? I thought we were like, oh, no, that's never part of the game. Oh, no, that's stupid. Who does that?
Put a seven if you're liking Walrus's style. I love this. I love this.
I thought this was dumb. Like, the chart doesn't seem to. We're back on now. Now we're happy again. Like, so I am going to absolutely tease a few people. I'm someone who thought single-sided staking has been cool for a long time. I've done some content trying to explain it. We can go through it a little bit, because I still think many people get it off on like how the actual mechanics work and why it's cool. But again, to see that, no, we don't need it. That was never part of the game. Price. Single-sided staking. Oh, fantastic.
Finally, Someone willing to point out the obvious. Someone willing to acknowledge reality. I cannot believe the amount of copium I've witnessed from this hex community trying to justify and do backflips in an attempt to justify how single side staking is not important. It is so self-evidently important. And for this community to have gaslit itself, the hex community, where the whole fucking point of hex is to stake and earn a yield, the fact that the fucking hex community forgot the value of earning a yield, shame on yourselves. Shame on all you fuckers who either pretended or were too dumb to understand why yield isn't important. Okay, look, I don't. Let me backtrack. I don't want to call. I don't think it's useful to like call name names and like and to use foul language like that. I actually want to back up because look, I do want to encourage genuine good faith disagreement and opinion. So I actually want to backtrack and not call people names because I actually don't think that's productive. So let me backtrack. I regret that. I don't want to call people names. It's okay to have a difference in opinion. But guys, to earn, if you have PulseX and if you're able to earn 5%, 10%, 20% on your PulseX bag, even if it's in some random shit coin, if you're able to sell that and buy Pulse Chain or buy PulseX and buy Hex, to pretend that earning 20%, 50%, 60% more Pulse Chain, PulseX, or Hex a year doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Earning 20%. So then why stake your Hex? And also Buck, I respect Buck. I think he's super intelligent. I like what he's doing with fiat fucks and fame. I sacrificed for those things. I just happen to have a good faith disagreement, difference in opinion with him when it comes to single side staking. It's okay to disagree with each other. It's not the fucking end of the world, guys. Like, it's not that deep. I think it's okay for us to have a difference of opinion. Again, Buck was famously saying that he thinks single side staking is rather stupid and unnecessary and it doesn't affect the value proposition of PulseX. But if that is his position, why does he have staking for PulseX? Why does or for fiat rather? So staking for fiat, staking for fame, it makes sense for his stuff, but it doesn't make sense for PulseX. Come on, my guy. Come on. Of course, earning a yield matters. Of course, if you're able to earn an extra 10, 20, 5% Pulse Chain a year, of course that matters. Of course it does. It's because this community considers Richard Hart to be some deity figure who's omnipotent and infallible, that people had to do these insane backflips in order to justify the nonsense that Richard Hart was saying that single side staking, like, number one, isn't important. Earning a yield isn't important. If earning a yield isn't important, then why stake Hex? Why does fiat and why does fame have staking if earning a yield isn't important? Of course it's important, guys. This is ridiculous. And so I just want to say shout out to Walrus for having the balls to point out the obvious when so many in this community have seemingly decided to self-castrate themselves in an attempt to kiss up to the dear leader. I don't understand it. But anyways, that shit ain't me, folks. I will fucking point out whatever warrants criticism, whether it's Richard Hart or any of the founders. And again, like, it's okay to disagree with people. It's not the fucking end of the world. Like,
Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one